welcome to Biker Talkers and a brand new video, Java Trails. The target is a 250 kilometers Calimoto round trip, and the day started nice, bright and early. It was a beautiful start, nice country roads, beautiful lakes and whatnot. Soon enough, I came across this happy chappy in his own world on his two wheels. I wish I could just zone out like him. Anyway, the roads are good and we just keep rolling. The roads were so good, I didn't notice that I was pushing my Java to the limits of its lean angle. That was a proper whack on the stand. Thank God it didn't throw me off the road. It seems okay for now. So I continued to push into this beautiful rolling countryside roads. And this is our first minor off-road section. Lot of gravel, pebbles, and to add to the excitement, a little bit of drizzle in the air. The Java is not really an off-roader, but surprisingly, despite its low ground clearance, it handled pretty well on this loose soil. This short stretch of around 2.5 kilometers was the shortest path between my two waypoints. The weather actually became a bit nasty after I reached the end of this road and turned into my next destination. I was carrying a puncture repair kit. After all, this is a tubed tire, and I really wouldn't recommend anybody from traveling along these roads unless you know how to fix a flat. And then it rained really hard, thunder, lightning, and what happened afterwards was magical. Just look at this beautiful landscape. Wow. The Java is best ridden sedately, but there were a few stretches here which were just too good. They are narrow and single lane, so you ought to be careful, but it was good fun trying to push the Java to slightly higher speeds along these roads. Just as I say that, here you go. Never take too many chances. This route actually takes us deeper into the reserve forest area. The road conditions are pretty good. You can see that I am pushing the Java closer to its top speed. You still have to be careful, there's people and animals popping out of nowhere. This is one of the checkposts, and soon after, you are going to break out into a pretty nice looking view. Take a look at your right hand side. You will be able to look into all those rolling mountains and plains. Very nice. Those mountains that you see in the distance, that's where we are headed. And take a look at all these houses on the fields here. So nice. Going through this village road, I came across this huge white property. Look at the size of this thing. Just see how long it is. It goes on and on and on. In the middle of nowhere. And wait, look at the outhouse. That's pretty big all by itself. Wow, must be some big shot. And this is where our adventure really starts. Beautiful sunset, beautiful fields, an overcast sky. What could go wrong? Really? This is one of the many small puddle crossings that I came across. It looks pretty innocuous on the camera, but it was quite deep at places. I'm just looking to find the shallowest point that I can get across. I was really wary of scraping the bottom of the motorcycle. From here on, the roads were progressively narrower, and as you can see, it's getting pretty late by now, and I'm really having second thoughts on why I didn't do my R&D. It's not very comfortable to be riding so deep in these narrow roads in a reserve forest area. I think this could have been a better plan, right? Anyway, now that I'm here, I tried to scamper across these broken surfaces as quickly as I could before it became completely dark. And then I think this is the point at which we hit the most scary bit of this trip. Just as I came round this bend, I think I hit what I initially thought was an absolute dead end. Let's just see what happens here, right round this bend. Take a look. Right, so that was quite scary. Basically, I came upon this kind of a crest which was ridden with all kinds of boulders and rocks. And the Java being a puny little bike with very low ground clearance, it just dug into it. It was just too much of loose surface, and there was no way that I was able to power through that. I tried everything I could without scraping the bottom, tried different lines, tried to put my body weight onto different parts of the vehicle so that I could get some traction. Nothing worked, and frankly, I panicked a bit. I started looking around, thinking if this is really something that I couldn't get out of. And after taking a deep breath, which I'm sure you all heard, I was able to look under the bike, cleared some of the rocks, and thankfully, I managed to push the bike up above that crest. And at this point, frankly, all I was concerned about was getting out of this really claustrophobic room. And as we come along here, you can see the headlamp is almost visible, so it's pretty dark. The roads are just getting worse and worse, and there's absolutely nobody inside. There's nothing inside. I actually didn't want anything to come inside. It's quite scary. I just kept pushing along, and I was just hoping that I could find one person. And instead, all I find is what looks like abandoned houses on both sides. Yeah, the last thing I wanted is to try and peep into one of those windows and find somebody staring outside at me. Oh god, this was getting pretty scary. There were contradictory feelings going on in my mind. I was kind of happy to see a bit of civilization, houses and bridges, but at the same time, the remoteness of this place started to make me feel quite nerve wracking.
If I had known that we have to go through this type of forest road and off-road at 7 p.m. nearly, I definitely would not have stopped clicking pictures of sunset.
Yeah, that was me regretting how I had wasted time earlier in the better part of the day.
Oh my god. This is probably even more dangerous than the last one that we took. Let me ask this time.
And then I saw somebody.
ಅಣ್ಣಯ್ಯ ಸಾಲ್ಬನ್ನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ ಇನ್ನೆಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ರೋಡ್ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೋಡ್ ಸರಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸಾಲ್ಬನ್ನಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಹೊಸದುರ್ಗಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ರೋಡ್ ಸರಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸರಿ ಓಕೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಹಾಂ ಟಾರ್ ರೋಡ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಓಕೆಪ್ಪ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು seems like some guy who knows what he's talking about. Unlike the last time when I was within the forest range and there were like 5 people or 3 people that I met who said that the next town, Anchetti, is 5 kilometers away and that you would find 3 villages before it. And as it turned out, they had no idea of distance. There definitely were no 3 villages in between. I ended up riding 15 kilometers before I reached the first village. Oh, that was terrible. Hopefully this guy is not in the same category. The map says 1 kilometer and then there is tar road. What was that? Let's see. Sorry. Oh, the problem with the visor. Something went into the eye. We end up again.
That was me cursing myself for having opened the visor. Something went into the eye, but I was in no mood to stop.
Never set out on a Calimoto road which leads you home to the second half of the day. Other number one road is Calimoto. Never take the bike or the road bike. You have to bank on the track that it will at some point of time take you through these foresting areas. Very bad roads, narrow roads. Never put on the maps, the maps, but you never know. It's actually one of the better roads in the last 15 kilometers. So the 2 number 1 roads for Calimoto are very beautiful identified for a semi not putting the road bike unless there is something that has good clearance.
And so, after cursing Calimoto and my bad plans, finally made it back onto tarmac road. Was able to find myself back to Kanakapura and then back home. Quite an adventure.